Hey yo, what is up guys, your boy Ed from Savij. You already know. For today's video, I wanted to start looking at other people's deck profiles and see what different builds people have going on right now. I personally believe that the meta has gotten a little stale, a little boring, and I kind of just don't want to play this meta right now. I don't feel as in like YuGiOh is very stimulating to me. I just don't feel like I want to play this right now. Therefore, I'm looking at other people who play different builds. I'm looking at other people who play just different decks. Most of the guys on my team are kind of in the same boat as I am, where they're just kind of more or less taking a break from YuGiOh and just kind of either living their life and actually working, or just spending time with their girlfriends, of course. I do want to talk about today's video. Today is a deck profile that I saw on YouTube earlier. I think that it's actually one of the coolest videos, or one of the deck profiles more interesting that I've seen in a while. This is from a channel called Duel for School. Shout out to them because they actually have this really good video up of 7th place regionals virtual world Ishizu Tearlament Beastial deck profile, which is a whole mouthful. It's really interesting. I like it a lot. The guy who plays this deck explains it really well. If you guys want to go check out what he has to say about why he plays certain ratios, you guys should definitely do it. I'll try to put the link down in the description. But today I wanted to talk about how I felt about the deck and what my thoughts were. It's a 60 card deck. It's really interesting and it's kind of fire. It's a really good deck and I like it a lot. And it's also inspired me to also myself build a different virtual world, build a variant to just the deck. Virtual worlds has always been one of my favorite decks to play, but not really play, just kind of like interact with, you know, things that I want to build. There's just been many of ways to play virtual worlds throughout, you know, the time. And I remember like virtual world Sword Soul was a thing and I enjoyed that for a minute. But this just kind of gives me a little bit more inspiration and it gives me a little bit more of energy to wanting to play Virtual World again. So make sure that you guys go check out that video if you guys are interested in his deck profile. And I'm going to talk about it here now. I'm going to show you guys the deck list and we'll go at it little by little. Before we continue with today's video, don't forget to go check out my sponsors from Dank Rituals. They have some of the coolest playmats, deck boxes, oversleeves, even dice. They just came out with their brand new travel bag and it is beautiful. I love it and you guys will definitely love it yourselves. Make sure you guys click the link down in the description to go check them out. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start off with the first part of his deck. I do want to say that the guy who played this deck got 7th place at a regional, which is really cool. It's very impressive. Just playing Tearlament, Virtual World Ishizu Tearlament Bystial, it's already an accomplishment. It's really cool because Virtual World, you guys have always known that Virtual World is kind of bricky and it always has a tendency to find a way to make you brick with you playing all those continuous trap cards that the deck already has, or opening up the continuous spells as well with no monsters or anything like that, right? But the deck's consistency should change a little now that we've added other engines to it, and it's not just 1 or 2 engines. So like before, where we just had like the one Sword Soul engine, here you have a little bit more of a broad, like a bigger spectrum of things that you can do, which is really interesting and it's really nice. The ability to then be able to foolish your cards if you need to want to foolish your cards, like your continuous spell to search a virtual world monster, or your traps to be able to change the level, or whatever the situation is, right? All of that is very interesting and it helps out to be able to play in this Tearlament build, right? Shout out to the guy. His name is Vladis. I am gonna not say the last name because it's so difficult for me to pronounce that. I am so sorry. It's just something that I cannot pronounce right now. Maybe if I hear it, I can pronounce it back. But yeah, shout out to him. This is a really cool deck. First part for the monsters, we're gonna go ahead and start off with the first monsters. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the first couple of monsters. For the Tearlament monster, his lineup is it's kind of very similar to almost any Tearlament deck. So this is a very strong, just very normal Tearlament lineup, very strong Tearlament lineup in main deck monsters, of course, having to do with, of course, your first 2 Rhino Hearts, and then you have your 3 Sharon, you have your 3 Havness, and you have your 3 Merly. I wouldn't know that if you played this deck, if it would be a lot different from wanting to play less monsters. Of course, I feel like 2 Rhino Heart is very normal, and then 333 of the other 3, it's very normal as well. So like, I wouldn't think that like it would be different, a different lineup. Maybe I personally thought that he might play like 1 less of each, but seeing the 333 kind of makes sense, and it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, you know, this is very strong Tearlament, because the lineup for his Ishizu monsters, it's very normal to what a Tearlament deck is, which is still the 3 Keldo, the 3 Kelback, and then of course continuing with the 3 Medora and 1 YuGiOh, which is very normal. This is what people have been playing for a minute now. I wouldn't think that like, I think more people are starting to play more YuGiOh, but I think that this deck, I think I posted like almost 2 weeks ago, and it's really cool. I actually did recommend it to a buddy of mine to try it out, and then him tell me if he liked it or not. So far, I've seen him play it at locals a couple of times, and I don't think that it's list or card for card the same build, because knowing my friend, he plays very differently, and he's also not a very strong like net decker either. I'm not trying to say that he wouldn't play card for card, but what I'm trying to say is that what we normally do as a group of people is that we see a list, we kind of like visualize how he played it, and imagine, you know, play through with it, and then kind of make a couple of changes to the list. The reason why you want to do that is because you always want to play something different, and you always want to make it more of your style. Everybody plays different. The reason why some people would play like 2 or 3 of this or 1 of that would be very different to why you would want to prefer it. Instead of playing 1 of it, you would want to play 3 of it, of course. So I don't think that it's card for card the same list, and I think that he has been enjoying it. He says that it still does brick a little, but it is nothing similar to what it used to be before, where you would just brick a lot more often, which is really interesting to me. Now we're going to go ahead and continue with the rest of the monsters. For the rest of the monsters, we're going to have to start off with the 3 Bystial Magna Huts, of course. Him and the rest of the Beastials are, of course, now a staple in most, if not all, decks in YuGiOh right now. I believe that any and every deck can definitely play these guys. That's the reason why I throw Beastials into like Dinos, or I would throw Beastials maybe not into that Emancipators, but I would if I really would if I wanted to, for real. I think that you can throw him into this engine into almost any deck, and it's really cool. I like that a lot. Continuing with the rest of the YuGiOh, I think that this is a staple engine that would be played so much more in the future coming forward. So I think it's really cool that just 4 cards make a small engine in this deck, and it's the 3 Magna Huts and of course the 1 Jerusalem. So cool. I like that a lot. Continuing with the virtual world monsters, I feel like this lineup is very normal. I think it's not out of the ordinary in whatsoever. But of course we do have the 3 Lulu. We have the 3, I always forget this guy's name. It's I'm pretty sure he is the Lily or Gigi or one of those. No, he's Lily because the horse is the Gigi. There you go. So Lily, and then 3 Gigis, and then only 2 Lao Lao. Personally, before, I used to think that Lao Lao was my favorite. As I started playing this deck more, and I started realizing that, like, you know, he's good, but GG is just so much better. The big old horse, he's just really good. Having that double foolish really helps out a lot. Starting this guy off and then a monster on the field, it's just so helpful to be able to have your full combo. I really want to have a video where I can have a full combo of this deck profile. Maybe in the future I can have my buddy who has his deck put a combo video together for you guys and show it off. Maybe you guys would like that. I think that would be really cool. Maybe do a couple of just test hands and play it out. I think that it would be very important to maybe do like 3 or 4, just so you guys can see how often it actually bricks, and then maybe also not just that, but just see the deck in action, because it just has so much going on all at once that it is definitely something worth seeing. But we're gonna go ahead and continue with the next list. Okay, so it's very interesting because what I ended up doing was that I grabbed this guy's video, I started doing card for card on Neuron, and then I cut it into lines so I can be able to see. And then in this, of course, you still have the one Yan Yan, but I divided the list to where you can see on the screen that I've divided the one last monster into all the spells and traps. But the reason why I did that, it was just going to be easier to handle from there. The one Yan Yan, of course, this wouldn't be a Tearlament deck without, of course, the 3 planets. I keep hearing that some people want to play 2, and then I've heard people want to say that they don't have to play any, or 1 if anything. And personally believing, I think that if you're not playing any at all, or 1, you're playing it wrong. Pellerino it's a game changer. Let me tell you that. I haven't experienced too much Tearlaments myself, as in playing it myself, but I do think that every time that I play somebody and I think I've got the game and they just top deck the 1 Pellerino, it completely changes the game. It completely turns it around if I don't have anything else. Sometimes I've had it to where I OTK'd, I broke their board, I mostly OTK'd, and I left them with a little bit of life points left. And then I'm like, hey man, that's it. Like, I have big beaters on the board and I'm gonna win. All they have to do is just draw that one last card that won't do anything from them, and I'm gonna attack on the next turn and win. But it doesn't work out like that. Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't work out like that ever. I think it's crazy. I got a little thirsty, sorry. I think that 3 is more than necessary in most all decks, if not most decks, if not all decks, of course. Continuing with the God card, the God card itself, and I heard the guy on the video actually say that himself too. I think Instant Fusion is the best card for this deck. Instant Fusion just being God tier. I literally think that it's God tier. I think personally, with however much, or with how much things we have going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry, I needed to articulate that better. With how many things are going on, and with all the decks and everything that can just play tier, I think that Instant Fusion should be a card that gets banned soon, just because it's so good. Literally Instant Fusion into Kit, and then Kit into Merly and Kit, Foolish 8. That's insane. That's nasty. I've seen people not foolish anything important whatsoever, and not even like not even more Ishizu cards that help them foolish, but just nothing at all whatsoever, and that's crazy. But I think that's their bad luck. I think that's just their luck as a duelist for building a bad deck. But it's not really a bad deck, it's a great deck, but that's just, you know, the humor behind it, of course. Continuing, he has the 1 terraforming to, of course, wrap it up, and having 4 field spells instead of only having the 3. Like I said, the more the merrier. He has 1 Scream, of course. Scream being a really good card that helps out so much. It's a card that I don't understand why it got printed out as a common, but if we were talking about that, I believe that maybe in the next OTS, this card might get printed as a super. Don't quote me, that's just what I believe. I would hope so. I think that having pretty cards in a lot of decks is definitely the way to go. So I would be very hopeful for U-tier players to have a very pretty Scream, hopefully in the OTS coming up. Continuing, of course, we still have the 3 Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Good is so good. Let me see. Okay, so looking at his spells and traps, of course, the cards that do benefit from getting Foolished, Scream. You have Quing Long, which is the continuous. Is that the name of the continuous trap? I might be tripping. But I call Virtual World City the regular spell, and then yeah, it's Quing Long, which is the continuous spell, which is it's Rhoda himself. And then you are, of course, you would have you have your Solik if you want to foolish that, or you have your Chuche, or if not, your other, which is Shuang Lu, which is your other trap, of course. But Foolish Burial Good is so good because you can foolish your Quing Long to then Rhoda, it's really good. And then what happens after you Rhoda? You discard a card from hand? Whoa, that's nasty. Yes. So 3 Foolish Burial Goods, 3 cities. City is really good. It just, for the people who don't know this, you activate it and it allows you to activate one of your virtual world spells or traps onto the field, except for itself. So you can go that and then have your continuous spell on the field if you really need it. But most of the time, I think that the way to go is always going to be the trap card. Chuche is really nasty. Continuing with the 3 Queen Longs, which if it's in the graveyard, you banish it, you Rhoda, and then you discard a card, which that helps you out as a tier player so much. Continuing with 3 emergency teleports. Emergency teleport being godly in this deck because you have Nian Nian to special summon, and then you have any of your other where are they at? Any of your other, of course, virtual world monsters that you would want to special summon that are psychic. I think that, well, Lulu, but I think that Nian Nian is definitely just the one card that you would always want to start off with no matter what. So it's not like you're going to go emergency special out Lulu. Like, that doesn't make sense most of the time. You want Lulu in hand, not on the field, unless you have the strategy to be able to get Lulu from the grave back into your hand, and that's crazy. That's nuts. Continuing with Tusulik. Tusulik is still really good. That is an on-board imperm, and it allows you to send one to the field, and then allows you to negate something, imperm something, right, of course, and then the effect of the grave. Oh, it's nasty. Continuing with Chu Chess to pop anything on the field, and then 1 Shuang Lu, which is funny enough, can allow you to change the battle position of a monster on the field if you have another 1 trap on the field, I believe, which is pretty funny. I remember having a mirror match one time versus Michael Temes of Virtual World versus Virtual World, and he loved this deck. He was so good at it. I got ran most of the time, but the funny thing was that, like, I remember like having him attack and then be like, effect, change battle positions. He doesn't attack anymore, and it's just like, ah. It's really funny. It's really cool, and I enjoy that a lot. Let's go ahead and continue with the extra deck. Alright guys, before we continue with today's video, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about my newest giveaway, which is for this BLS Funko Pop. I am very excited to announce that at 2,900 subscribers, I will be giving away this pop. There is a video already up on my channel. The link will be down in the description. Make sure you guys go comment, I want the BLS pop, I want the BLS, in order for you guys to be able to enter this giveaway. Thank you. Alright guys, we're going to continue now with the extra deck, of course. The extra deck, we're going to easily start off with some of the fusion monsters in here. He only has 5 fusion monsters, which is not really bad. I think he has some of the best, and I am not going to be able to show you guys the side deck because I did not prepare for that. I only prepared for the main and the extra deck because this is what's the important part here. But maybe like he has like a Mud Dragon on the side deck or something. I'm not sure. If you guys want to find out, make sure you guys go check out his video on the channel. Like I said, I have his link down in the description. Starting off, of course, with Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart just being a really good bounce that can pulse. Just disgusting, like I said. You have your Kikalos to be able to get you out your Rukalos later on. Kikalos just being one of the strongest Tearlament cards in the whole deck. I don't think that... Okay, so OCG just recently, I think, banned it. I don't think that hitting Kikalos kills the deck. I think that it does limit it, and it does change the game style, but Kikalos is the most broken card out of all of them. I'm going to be honest. Garura being the next fusion summon monster that they have. Of course, they have Garura. Garura is disgusting. Predaplant, Dracostapelia. Dracostapelia is really nice. I like Dracostapelia a lot. I think that... it's definitely the one key card to have over like Mud Dragon, because Mud Dragon is good. And yeah, you can have Bystial, which a Bystial is the next monster on his extra deck list. Kind of nice, huh? What a segue. We're going to continue with, of course, Beatrice. Beatrice just being a really good card to be able to play, not just with Virtual World, of course, but also being a card that you can easily speed out with any and every single one of your Beastials, of course. Continuing, you have the new Zombie World, rank 6. Some of these I feel like might just be kind of like givens. If you guys want more information and want to check out why some of these cards are definitely better than others, you guys are more than welcome to look them up. They're great cards. Same thing with like Phantom Fortress, such a good card. If you've played Virtual Worlds before, you know that this is a card that you might want to play in your deck. Suze is a given. Suze, anytime that there is the ability to play any rank 6s, or I'm sorry, any rank decks, any XYZ decks, you will play Suze. Of course, continuing with Stardust Charger Warrior, the ability to draw the card here, too nice. You guys have played Virtual World before, you know it. Same thing with Coral Dragon. It's it's another reason why we play Koro Dragon, because of the amazingly way to be able to draw that one card. With the next card, of course, the Vermilion, the rank 9, too nice, is a really good card. And then before we go to the last card, the next card, which is card number 14 for me, I don't know why I flipped them around, but Shen is disgusting. Now you have more monsters in your graveyard that are going to allow you to have different types and different attributes, so it will allow you to just bring that back out and bring it back out and bring it back out. Shen is so good. Macrocosmos on the field, it does stop a lot of if you don't play it right, it will stop a lot of your tier cards, but if you play it right, it will stop a lot of their tier cards. So that's always good, right? For the last card, of course, Baron being a god card, being such a good staple, who is actually getting reprinted soon, I believe. Hopefully, I can't remember quite well, but yes. I think this is a great deck, and I love it a lot. I think the Virtual World is just one of those decks that I love interacting with. Virtual World, Dinos, Adamanticators, Sword Soul, things like that. I just love interacting with and just building different variants to it. So I do have a variant of my own that I will bring out to you guys pretty soon. So make sure you guys stick around for that. It's very interesting, and it's a little bit of a difference between this one and mine. So maybe you guys will enjoy my list as well. I think that Virtual World is just really fun, and it's really hard to be really good at it. So if you guys want to check out my deck profile and you guys are ready for it, make sure that you guys just keep looking into the channel and see when it comes out. I am super excited for all of that, and guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Don't forget that I have a Facebook group called YuGiOh Elite Savij. If you guys want to join us, all you got to do is just click the link down in the description. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to join our Elite Savij family. And I'll see you guys on the next video.